All right, so in this video, we're going to work on some advanced footwork concepts for our striking or punching, kicks. You can add knees, elbows, lots of different things, okay? So it doesn't matter what stance you're in, right or left. Matter of fact, you want to get to where you can work it on both sides. But, you know, we're always looking at trying to get a superior angle on our opponent and move off at an angle that's hard for them to hit us, but very advantageous for us to hit them. So this is going to be called I call a circle shuffle, because I'm basically circling to an angle around my opponent one way or the other. So what I want you to imagine is that the feet form kind of a V, but I want you to think of it more like a U, so it circles more back and forth. And the first drill we're going to do is going to be working my head movement from left to right so that my weight goes to my right foot, making my left foot light, which is now going to enable this foot to come to this foot and circle around. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing the other way. I'm going to move my head to one side, and as I move it towards my left, my weight goes on that foot, which makes this one light. That will make this foot now able to come around that and come around to the outside, okay? So in a very nice, easy motion, as I'm sitting here playing around a little bit, I circle step around, and that's where I can throw in a hook, nice and easy. It whips that motion. I'm going to come around the side again. I'm going to be here. I'm going to allow this circular motion as my head moves here. It could be just a side-to-side motion like a slip, or I could bob and weave under. I move my head at an angle. Notice how my body's turning. That pulls this right shoulder back. As I pull that back, I loop around, and then there's that nice big hook coming up over top. Okay? I'm going to do the same thing going the other way. My head moves, shoulder pulls back on that side. Left shoulder pulls back. This foot comes to the other foot because now it's light, and I circle around for a nice swinging hook. That hook can be wide, it can be tight, lots of different ways. That's the drill. You just want to work on both sides. Head movement, circle around, boom, hit that side. Move around a little bit, and then start falling up to the straight. As soon as we circle around, 1, 2. Head movement, working the different angles, circle around, then hit that straight right away. First drill. Okay, so in the previous technique, you can literally just stand in place to learn the movement because you're working on the left foot moves to the right foot first. So that as we're here, the head movement has to occur to help to swing in my body weight a little bit. Helps me move, so let this foot move, and then I come back in, swinging that hook right away. Really snapping those shoulders and those hips as we turn, okay? Same thing going the other way. My head moves from one side to the other. As my head moves, that comes around, and then, bam, we turn, okay? So we'll do this side again. From here, circle around and hit, circle around and hit. Now, the straight can follow right after, and you can go back to that other previous video and watch that again. Now, what's going to be different now is I'm going to take a preparatory step. So it's like I'm doing a side step. I do a side step, and then I circle around. So as my opponent is coming to me, it looks like I'm maybe moving to exit out to my right. But instead, I'm just sidestepping, circle around, and there would be that 1 or 2 punch combo, okay? Same thing going the other way. I take a preparatory step, and notice my head moves with my foot. I move, circle around, there's that hook and then that cross, right? One more time. Footwork, working your technique a little bit. Step, circle, hook, cross, move around a little bit, working your combination, step, circle, and then there's your hit. Okay, so we've been working it with the lead foot coming to the rear. Lead foot coming to the rear, and then we step into that. Or I step first with the rear foot, and then the lead foot comes to the rear, and we follow it up. But that's not the only way it can go. It can also go to the front. This is pretty much standard fare, though, when you look at Mike Tyson and different guys who kind of do this leaping in lead hook. It's basically the same thing, although we can circle a little more, cut a little bit more outside angle as well. So it's basically the same kind of concept. We're playing. My head movement allows my head to go back and forth. As my head goes from my right to my left, that lightens the right foot. So that as I move here, the right foot comes up, and then I hop in for that hook. And again, if you watch Mike Tyson, especially some of his old footage, you'll see that he would leap in on opponents like this to be very, very effective with that. You do lots of head movement and bam, bam, and they come in right away. So you can do that on either side. I could have my right lead playing the same game. As my head moves from my left foot in this case, to my right, it makes this leg light. which allows me now to give a little movement, little momentum, and I hop in for that lead hook. Okay, let's look at it from a side view. We'll look at all those basics. So we'll kind of go in different order, right? Let's do this lead leg since we're on the subject right now. From the lead leg, from this position here, my head goes from my right to my left, which makes this leg light. So as I go here, I'm able to hop in for that lead hook. Same thing on this side. Head moves to the front leg. Rear foot becomes light. I bring it in as I hop, and then follow up right away. What about the circle? Look at my stance, okay? The lead foot moves towards the rear. Head moves. As the head moves, there's the hit, there's the follow, okay? Head moves from the front to the rear or to side. As it moves from my right side to my left, that foot becomes light so that I can then circle and then bring it back in right away. Then we have the preparatory side step. So it's like I'm sidestepping, and then circle around, okay? Same thing, like a side step, and then I circle around and hit, okay? Okay, so what about kicks? Just in the simple basics we've got so far. Not really basics though, they are kind of advanced, right? Kicks can be added in place of any of the punches I just did. We just did two. We did off the, what becomes the lead hand or the rear hand, right? So let's do what would be the rear hand first. If we look at the combinations again, whether I take a preparatory step or whether I just start going from here, when I circle around and hit that punch, there would be the rear hand follow through, right? Well, instead of the rear hand follow through, it could be by itself or the kick ends up following through. So if I were to circle around my opponent, as I move from here, I circle around one and then two to hit right to my partner's leg, head, whatever. Matter of fact, what kind of becomes cool with that one is that as I circle around, this is a distraction so that then the kick could then follow through, okay? If I go the other way, maybe I take a preparatory step, I circle around, there would be my strike, whether it be an intentional strike or a distraction, and then following through would be the powerful round kick, okay? Now, circling around instead of my lead strike, could I kick? For sure, okay? We do this a lot. Imagine I'm standing with a matched opponent. I got my left leg forward, he has his left leg forward. I would a lot of times attack right to that lead leg. So that the lead leg is being attacked on the inside thigh, just like he'd try to attack mine and move it. So instead of just hammering from either the lead leg or the rear leg, I'm gonna see if I can get around the back side of their leg. So as I move, circle here, I circle step out, and then my kick now comes more towards the back of their thigh. I know this is best used with a training opponent, but right now these are solo exercises that you can do on your own to help improve your footwork and your understanding of angles, right? So with that one, I can do the kick either way, right? I could circle around, circle, and then there would be my kick, and then possibly follow through. I could circle around, throw in a strike, and then kick by itself, or I could strike, and then kick to follow through. Both are legit, both work very well. Very good circular deceptive footwork. Okay, continuing on with this theme, different methods of following through. The follow through sometimes is just as important as the lead setup. You gotta have like your core technique, then you have the preparatory or the prefix technique, and then the suffix, if we're gonna take like grammatical English type terms, right? So the core technique would be just the circular movement of the feet, circling from one side to the other, right? Now, prefixing it, I prefix it with a side step or a preparatory step, and then circle around. What am I adding on the end? With striking, knees, kicks, whatever. Preparatory movement, circular phase, bam. Now, right here at this point, of course I could, so I'm gonna lower my fist just a little bit so you can actually see my face, so I'm not up here like this, you can't see me. This punch is now followed through with another strike, okay? I'll back up a little bit, same thing from here, okay? Move around a little bit, preparatory step, circle, there's my strike, hit, follow through, bam. However you want to follow it up. So this is really good because as we circle our opponents, many times they start trying to step away from us, and our lead attack gets them to move because we're moving in deceptive ways. We're encroaching upon their range. They don't like it. So as I'm working, defending, I I side step out, I circle through, I notice they're moving away, and that's when I would continue to step through and follow up, okay? So that's yet another suffix that you can add on the end of the technique, in addition to the kick. Remember that any step could be a kick, any kick could be a step. Therefore, when I begin my circular motion from this point here, we circle through, this would be the kick, but then look, I step forward. So instead of just throwing that kick and landing or whatever, it's used as a motion to step through and follow up on my opponent. All right, so I'm gonna give you one more prefix or preparatory technique that helps lead into this kind of thing. There's lots of different options, lots of different follow-ups, different ways to hide it in combinations once you get down this basic skill. But that's primarily what I'm trying to do right now, is just give you a basic overview, a basic orientation to this movement, and then start playing with it. And later on, we can have more follow-up videos to add more to it, okay? So if we look at the setup again, we looked at number two. The number two method was to step first, adding to like a side step, right? So I start to side step, but then I circle around, striking the other way. Well, many times when I have an opponent here, if I just strike from this range, I'm going to play a game of in and out and up and down and so on, rather than cutting angles, which allows me to get my head off target a little bit as I come in and strike. So what I'm going to do to hide this motion, rather than just stepping, which I can do evasively, you know, to evade my opponent, whatever. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to step up at a little bit of an angle, not just stepping back. Remember, when you're talking about angles, my foot can move in a basic plus sign or an X or any degree in between that line. So primarily, if you think about the center of my body, the first method, I'm stepping on that horizontal plus if you're looking at for a bird's eye view. And then this foot circles to that foot and allows me to circle around. Well, now let's think about, instead of stepping directly sideways or stepping back, we're stepping sideways and forward. This is going to allow me to get into range to throw a nice hooking strike, okay? And now this can be done by itself, right? We're moving around a little bit and suddenly I juke forward, which gives me that side step angle. And then I circle my foot kind of behind my other foot to hit that hook and then follow up, okay? That's a big motion. That's a big motion to make all by itself. So you can do the cross. The cross makes this foot light so that I can come on through. I can jab cross, there's my hit, okay? Now the jab cross or the cross itself allows this foot to become light so that I can follow through and step out with a big swinging overhand left, a slapping left, a door knocker, Diaz Brothers type punch. But then I circle around for my strike and then follow up. Look at it from a side angle. The normal technique we were doing would be for me to step directly sideways, and then circle around for my follow-up strike. Whereas this one, I'm stepping forward pretty much on line with my other foot. And of course, I can make it even more than that. I could be coming here and then circle to follow up. So we can change the angles and change the distance based on what my opponent is doing. Remember now, we're going to hide that with that left hand, so that as I'm moving and sparring, I come forward, hit here. I could literally throw the cross, or I could fake the cross. There's my step and then circle to follow up the hit. As we're moving, playing around, maybe I go jab cross step, then there is that circle step hook. Slow motion, working jab line, jab cross. This is the overhand left. As I step forward, encroaching upon my opponent, I circle out. There's the big hook, then the cross follow through. Get it from this angle. Jab cross. I step forward, overhand left, circle up, follow through from this angle. Jab cross. Step forward at a diagonal angle, circle, step around, hook, cross, follow through. Whatever you need to follow up with. All right, guys, that gives you an overview of that circle step footwork pattern. Don't forget to train from your left lead and your right lead. Don't forget to train just the core technique, both sides. Train the core technique from lead foot going to the rear, rear foot going to the lead. Change your steps, work on the different prefixes or the preparatory techniques, work on the different suffixes or the end techniques and the follow-ups. All right, guys, thank you very much for your time. If you enjoyed that, at least I hope you did, hit that like button if you don't care. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please hit that subscribe button. Share the video, do whatever you can. I'd really appreciate it a lot to help me grow this channel. I've got a lot that I love to share. I love to teach, and I would really like to share a lot of this info with you guys. So hope you did enjoy. Like I said, like the video, hit the subscribe button. I really appreciate it, and we'll see you next time.